So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Demetra K. Look at that. It's Demetra K. So Donovan needs to obviously change his name. That is set up from when we were in the DR together and we put the Demetra K show. But hey, I like it. I like it. So anyway, this is the Demetra K show where we talk about Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always be better. And so there we go. That's the Donovan, the recovering Democrat. I call him the recovering 304. I don't know if he necessarily wants to recover from that title just yet. Anyway, we'll call him the recovering Democrat. So anyway, today we are going to talk about that of Mr. Kevin Samuels. He made a statement in regards to women over 35 who are unmarried are considered leftover women, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. We're also going to talk about why, or is it a thing that women are leaving men and going to the other side? Now, when I say the other side, I'm talking about going to be with other women. We'll get into that. So before we get started, Donovan, what say you?
Well, greetings, and hola from the Dominican Republic. I am still here holding it down. Fellas, please hit that Cash App on the Demetra K show, my show, and all that other stuff like that, because I put a stop to the Demetra K expose. We shut her down. Like I said, PayPal, Venmo, we take it all. And just do us a favor, hit the like, subscribe, and even join the podcast, because it's a good thing to get in here. Because like I said, we've done some stuff, because we don't just talk about stuff. Sometimes we actually go out there and do it. Demetra K was here in the DR, saw it for herself. Simp City, Simp Country. Why these brothers keep going down here, and she was going to expose it all, fellas. And I had the drop squad on her, so we got her up out of here.
So. You ain't lying. I was like, that cartoon sound, I was gone. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So as you guys know, Mr. Kevin Samuels, who is, I guess, some sort of a relationship guru. I don't know if it's self-proclaimed. I know he has a whole legion of followers, men and women, all over the globe, and probably some in outer space, who follow the teachings of Kevin Samuels. He is one that talks about high-value men and the modern woman versus the traditional woman, and, you know, and everything in between. And so I guess it was a couple of days ago on his podcast or show on YouTube, I guess it was, or Instagram, I don't know, one of those shows, where he said the following. So bear with me here. I'm going to share this because I want you guys to see it and see that I am not making this up. Give me 1 second. Nope, hold on. Here we go. And here we go. All right, so if you can see here, and I'll go ahead and read it for those of you guys who may not be able to read. I'm just kidding. So it says, if you have made it to 35 and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman, Samuel said. You are what is left. Men know that there is likely something wrong with you, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm going to go there with you. I'm telling you the truth that you don't want to hear. Men know that there is likely something wrong with you, that you cannot be an adjustable 6 or higher. Something is wrong with you. That's where men automatically come with it. And here's the thing. When you were between the ages of 22 and 25 and you didn't want to settle, you were trying to get the CEO, the pilot, the investment banker. You were trying to get flued out. All right. And so I should say, in all fairness, he was saying, actually, he was referencing that of, I guess it's a Japanese saying that they call women of a certain age leftover women. So I think he was trying to draw the correlation between what they say about their women of a certain age that are not married and all that to what is going on now. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. But the internet has been going wild with this particular excerpt of what he said, as far as, you know, women 35 and unmarried are leftover women. In all fairness, a lot of people came for his head, basically said, when are we going to be done with him? You know, he's misogynistic. They call him misogynoir, like black misogyny. and where the dog black women and this, that, and the other. And so we're going to have a discussion about that. Basically, going to pose the question: is there any merit to what he is saying? And I know Donovan better be happy that I'm in the States and he's in the DR. I would choke him. I would give him a mean elbow. So I know he's going to be off the hook. So Donovan, what say you? And also, I think we talked about later on, we're going to talk about, women going on to the other side. So go ahead, Donovan, what say you about this thing?
You know what? Again, women are one thing, men are a different thing, right? We are not equals. We see things different. We feel things differently. I agree with what Kevin Samuel said there. And one of the reasons I agree with it is because I was raised in Asia. And there is truth to that. When you are a woman, and this is just my opinion, not Demetra Kay's or anybody else's, this is my opinion. This is how most men of substance, we're not talking about, these guys that are just, those guys you guys keep picking that ain't responsible, they ain't around, they're in and out of, we're not talking about those guys that you guys keep picking, okay? We're talking about responsible guys that are doing what it is they need to do to be successful in life and raise successful families and all that other stuff, okay? That's who we're talking about. So let's clarify that. When you are a young woman and you are giving children to these Ray Ray and Pookies out there, wherever you want to call these guys, you have multiple baby daddies, your value to a man is lowered. Not saying you can't have any more children, not saying you're not a good person, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys right now, I'm going to go after his head. How dare he say that? It has been proven when you do that. Now, think about the women that don't have any children. And I'll give you a better example right now. Demetra has a daughter that is educated, beautiful, no children. Now, other than her age, as she's getting older, she's getting ready to deal with geriatric pregnancy, age where it's kind of risky and stuff like that. Outside of that, her value is still up here. You want to know why, ladies? Because she ain't got no kids. She ain't got no kids. And wasn't I saying that when we were in the DR? Why aren't these guys going after Deanna? Oh my God, chocolate, beautiful, smart. Well, she is a little picky, but that's okay. She has every right to do that. You women don't want to accept that. So what Kevin Samuels is basically saying is, that's what he's saying. You didn't want to settle. You didn't want to have, kids and get married at a young age with a thriving guy in college that you met and make it work. You guys fed into that shit, right? That's what Kevin Samuels is saying. He's saying that when you get a certain age, your value as a woman, and I'm not saying to be disrespectful, when you have multiple baby daddies, or let's say you were married and it didn't work out, you have children now, no man wants to build. It's very rare. There are men that do it, but it's very rare. No man wants to build with a woman that has children. We just don't. We don't want to do it, and it's a fact. So what I'm saying is this, and you guys remember, because I'm almost done here. Even Kendra G recently has had enough of you females being delusional. You guys say what you want, you guys do what you want, and everybody's just supposed to accept it. Well, men are tired of it, and it is now the truth the truth hurts, and you guys can't deal with it. And that's where we're at today, because it's done. It's done. The 304 mentality, this is what it's going to give you. Nothing. You're going to grow old and be by yourself, so go get a goddamn dog.
Well, tell us how you really feel. Well, you said a mouthful there, and that's one thing that I keep hearing is men don't want women with children. It's like, y'all got children. Most of y'all got children, yes. And y'all running around talking about, see this, now y'all gonna see Demetra Kay, the other Demetra Kay. Y'all running around here with a church full of children by 11 different women, and y'all want to tell a woman that she has lost her value because she has kids. Let me just tell y'all something. I know some of y'all gonna get mad, but that's okay. Y'all gonna be mad today. Y'all acting like y'all some sort of a prize around here. And I ain't talking about you, Donovan. I'm just saying in general. Talking about, us men don't want women with kids. First of all, what are we getting when we get with y'all? Most of y'all don't hardly make enough money to take care of yourself. You don't barely make enough money to take care of the other kids you got out there. And then y'all talking about, oh, we need to be able to have all these women to do what? You can't take care of one woman. And so y'all want us women to sit up and believe that false narrative that's going out in the manosphere that we are not of value if we got kids. But it's like, yeah,
Well,
listen,
wait, wait, no, wait,
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 let me finish now.
go, go,
There's a
go.
lot. Y'all talk about us being delusional. I think delusion, it runs rampant on y'all end too, because I see a lot of the men that's talking bad about women, especially black women. You this, you that, you got kids, you got this. It's like, have you looked in the mirror? Have you looked in the mirror and looked at yourself for one? And then you got a whole bunch of kids, but all of a sudden you are the prize? Tell me I'm wrong.
Wait, no, we're not saying you're wrong. Now, which type of man are you talking about? Just like I clarified when I started, we ain't talking about these women that have multiple baby daddies and doing that. We're talking about high value men view women with kids as lower value. We're not talking about Ray and Pookie. We're not talking about those guys.
Okay, so let me just say this, because we did this the other day, like a
Yeah.
month or so ago. We did the statistic calculator as far as what a woman's chances are to get the certain type of man she wants, right?
Sure.
So as a black woman, I said, okay, do we play with the numbers? I want a man making, what did I say, average income, about 40,000, average height, whatever. And my chances were very, 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 very low, right?
Yeah.
So we all know, statistically speaking, the high value men that everyone talks about making six figures and this, that, and the other, especially black men, really don't exist like that. And so y'all are saying that we are making poor decisions. And I'm not saying that the people who are the men are making a lot of money are making good decisions or a good choice, but the rest of the dating pool that's left over, they might got kids. Maybe they don't make a lot of money and all this other stuff. So we supposed to settle. And when I say settle, we're supposed to say, okay, well, I know you might go out there and cheat, because that's the thing this manosphere is trying to put out there, that black women need to settle for a man. Yeah, I've heard it. I've heard it from, West Coast Cam. I've heard it from Kevin Samuels and a whole bunch of these other dudes running around talking about black women need to get in the habit of accepting that she needs to be another woman in a relationship. So
I don't agree with that, but go ahead.
That's what's going out there. So as a black woman, if I want to be in a relationship with somebody, I gotta, lower whatever standards I may have, which are high to begin with, and I gotta think about sharing here with someone else. And then if I say I don't want to share because I'm not wired that way, oh, you delusional. You not. So y'all gonna rope me into a sister wives situation?
Right. No, and that's not right. But it's a complicated issue. But the point of the matter is, and I feel really sorry for women, because you guys are in a trick bag between two different type things. Now here's the thing. If I'm a six-figured man, I have options. That's just a fact. I'm not making excuses. All I'm saying is, let's talk about Nick Cannon. How many kids did he have?
A lot.
A lot of kids. Can he afford those kids?
Yes.
Yes. Now in Islam, and I'm talking about Islam because I'm bringing that up because you know a little bit about it. In Islam itself, can a man have more wives than he can afford?
It says so. Yes, that's what it says.
Right. So he has to be able to afford multiple wives.
Operative word, afford.
Right. Exactly. That's the operative word. And the Kevin Samuels type, we're kind of saying basically that. I'm not saying you have to, because we're in America, you ain't got to deal with all that. It's a one wife, one situation. But what I'm saying is, most of my friends that are highly successful and stuff, they've been with their wives for a very, very long time. Most of them have met their wives when they were in college or in the military, and they've been together forever, going through that, what we call the beautiful struggle. But there's a lot of these women out here, and it's so sad because we've let the non-participants, and when I say non-participants, I mean non-participants of society. And Demetria, we talk about this all the time. You get punished because you're the sucker that goes out there and works. But yet, if you laid on your back and had a bunch of kids, oh, you get everything you want, all the food stamps, the housing, all that other stuff. I'm not talking about I'm not even dealing with those type of women, okay? And that's the problem that I think a lot of with the communication that's being messed up is all these non-participants, even in the men situation, dudes that ain't taking care of their kids and running the streets and stuff. These are non-participants of society. That's what I've started to call them. They're non-participants. They have taken over the whole messaging of what a woman is and what a man is. And I think it's totally wrong because if I talk to you, like when you were here in the DR and we were having a heart-to-heart talk about things, we basically were on the same page and we were saying the same exact thing. But when we brought up the non-participants, that's where the confusion and the problem is because they live in that shit.
No, and I totally agree with you. And those are the ones on both sides, whether it's men
Right.
or women, the non-participants, as you would say, those are the ones that are writing the narratives. And
Right.
unfortunately, so many uneducated people who do not critically think are following that messaging and thinking that's okay. Like I cannot
Right.
tell y'all, as a woman of 51 years old, being online, and there's a big reason why I don't really like to be online much because I just don't like ignorance, right? I just it makes me itch.
Mhm.
And so I've seen a lot of these talking points come from what you guys may call the manosphere. Oh, what size dress do you wear? Well, how tall are you? How many kids you got? It's like, what else do y'all know other than that, right? And it's like it's like I studied Jim Jones and Guyana, right? I'm pretty well versed on it, and that's what it sounds like to
Yeah.
me is a bunch of Kool-Aid drinkers. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. Yes, yes, Master. Yes, Godfather. Yes, Manosphere. Whatever you say, and it's like, do y'all really just sit back and critically think about what is being fed to you? And even for on the side of the women who are getting the divesting conversation, do y'all really digest and dissect what's being fed to you, or do you just go off the surface and say, yeah, it's true, black men are horrible, black women
Right.
are horrible? So it's like, what's left? What's left for you if you can't even get along with your man or your woman? Who are you supposed to be with?
Right. And again, it goes back to, let's say, like a Kendra G. You might not like her
You mean
show.
Cynthia G?
What is her name?
And you might be talking about Cynthia G.
No, Kendra G,
Oh,
the
I
one
don't know
that
who
does
that is.
the dating thing or whatever the thing is.
Okay.
She's a radio host in Chicago. And you
Oh,
be seeing her on TikTok, and she's doing her thing. She's single, doing her thing, right? She has a show, and she just the other day, go look it up on YouTube when you get a chance after the show, maybe. Um, Look at all these black female dating coaches that have just quit, because because women are not getting it. They're not getting the message. They're not getting the hint. Um, like, okay, let's say I'm not the greatest looking guy. I mean, I'm in the top 5, right? Okay, okay, I'm in the top 5. I got a lot of confidence, right? Okay, but some women will find me not attractive because I'm not 6 feet or whatever. I'm close. I'm whatever. But anyway, so you got women out there that will be delusional. I mean, you're not going to date a man because he's 6 feet. You're not going to do this. And you got some men that are the same thing. They won't do this. They won't do that. But notice, like yourself and myself, that doesn't come up in our conversation. I say, oh, wow, how are you? Hey, what do you do for a living? Hey, we're getting to know each other because you are on a level that is a plane that I can deal with. Now, I'm not saying because if you're struggling and you can't come up, if as a man, we're visual. If I see you working at McDonald's, I'll give you a shot. I definitely will give you a shot. But just the other day, Kendra G just said she's done because, okay, like right now, there are going to be people in the comments saying, that nigga don't know what he's talking about. Oh, F him and da-da-da-da. Who does he think he is? Blah, 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 right? But if there was a woman on the show like yourself, and I make a comment that might not be a pleasing, oh, he's attacking her. Oh, he's doing this to her, whatever. Kendra G on her show just the other day said, you know what? Some of the meanest people and the worst comments, 80% of them come from women. Whenever a man is on there, you can say anything you want to the man, but the minute the man says his truth, it's a freaking problem. And she said, I'm done with it. Don't watch my show. Get off of it. And this is what I'm saying. We have to be able to be honest with each other. Me and you talk all the time, honestly to each other and say, hey, this is what I think, this is what I think. And nobody's feelings gets hurt.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, because that's what grown-ups do. Grown-ups are able to have a conversation without getting emotions involved, right? I mean, iron sharpens iron. That's kind of how I see it. But I want to go back to this Kendra G and all these other ladies who say they're quitting. First of all, I want to know who are they and who makes them the authority, and have you built a rapport with women for you to come off as that authority figure, as somebody to listen to. And so maybe it's not the messaging, maybe it's you. And I'm just speaking from a public relations point of view,
Sure.
communication point of view, that a lot of times it's not necessarily the message, it's the messenger. And so I've never heard of these women, and that's just maybe me because I'm not really
Yeah.
involved in a lot of stuff like that. But first of all, they need to take a temperature check and say, well, do I have the authority and influence over these women I'm trying to speak to, for them to even see me as somebody that says, well, I could take advice from her. Because one thing I know is we're not taking advice from people we don't like, or people we don't have a common bond or a connection with. It's just not going to work. So I think we need to throw that question in there, and I failed to believe that there are all these women out there just rebelling, because I listen to a lot of people. Well, I'll say a lot of people, but certain people, and a lot of them are men. One of them is Bishop R.C. Blake's, and this guy is spot on, and he specifically speaks to women, and he holds women's feet to the fire. I know Farrakhan is one of those that holds women's feet to the fire, and they have women listen to them. So what is it about these messengers that are rubbing people the wrong way, and that they are not listening to the message?
Well, no, it isn't that. When these women, in a lot of the cases, when they're defending men and saying, wait a minute, you got to be fair on both sides, the women don't like it. It's like, no matter how bad a woman treats a man or whatever, you're supposed to be on code with girl code. And they're like, no, you can't do this. Now, remember, these are 3 separate or 4 or 5 separate different entities. And they all are saying the same thing. I'm tired. Kendra G, when I saw it yesterday, she said basically like, these women come on the show and, it's a dating thing. And they're always lying. Not always, but some of them are lying. And then she calls them to it. But nobody points that out. But when a man does it, oh my God, oh, he's not all that. Girl, he ugly, he this, he that. It's just so sad that the non-participants is the story.
Well, it also speaks to a level of maturity and a set of behaviors, right? And so you're trying to change people who are already pretty much set in their ways. And, I don't know her audience at all, so I'll just take you at your word. But if that's how her audience behaves and, man hate, then they'll go through life struggling in relationships, right? I mean, because a man, and I'm not one, but I know a man will put up with you long enough to get horizontal for a couple of times, and then he'll say, okay, on to the next one or whatever.
Peace.
But so it's a set of behaviors that needs to be addressed. And we're going to have to start getting next to the women. I'm speaking from a woman's point of view at a younger age. Now, I should say this too. A lot of those women that are watching her, or whoever this woman is, they probably learned that from their moms and their grandmas, or whoever the center of influence of women are around them. They probably learned that from them, and that I will be cantankerous when it comes to dealing with men, because maybe they've been taught, oh, girl, men ain't no good. Don't trust no man. And as a 51-year-old woman, I've heard the old wives' tales, right? Don't buy a man a pair of shoes. He gonna use them, walk out of your life.
Out your life, right?
Don't buy a man a set of teeth. He gonna be up in somebody else's face smiling.
Right.
The daughter's grandmother said to me one time, girl, I wouldn't buy a man a Pepsi Cola. Basically saying you don't do anything for a man, because in the end it's going to come. So I've heard all of those wives' tales. And so some of them have some weight. Some of them are ridiculous. But it just depends on what influence has been poured into them over their lives,
Right. And then speaking to the man side of the non-participants, fellas, we need to do a better job of basically mentoring these young men that don't have fathers in their lives. And like you said, go to a younger group and change the narrative to where, hey, stay with your family. Demetria, we talk about this all the time, and a lot of people talk about it. Fellas, you condemn your children to poverty because you are not there financially supporting them. Your kids would be better off if you and the mother could possibly stay together. But if you're not going to stay together, hey, financially support that child, because if you, when you don't, especially now, let's be real. I don't know why everybody wants to fake the funk, especially women. You're in government damn housing and you act like you paying the rent. You ain't paying the damn rent. $25. That means I've seen people, men and women, get evicted off of $25, and then they go roach at the next government house.
The other
So
thing about that is, yes, so there are people who are in that situation. But the other thing is, there's a lot of dudes who will go lay up in those government
yeah,
housing with those women. So it's like,
yeah,
to me, I don't know. If I was a man, if I was not trying to help that woman better herself, and some women, let's just be honest, don't want to be better. I wouldn't be laid up in no, government housing with her. I mean, because that makes you just as bad. And so,
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. These non-participants, to me, these are the problems. It isn't the people out there, the suckers like you, and you, who are out there working and paying taxes so that this system can continue. That's not the problem, because most of those people like that, either you were married or you were in a relationship to where you guys are getting along and parenting together. So I really can't talk to I could talk to those people, but the majority of those people that are out there man hating and out here pimping and trying to be street thugs and stuff, we have no more conversation, because like Kendra G and Kevin Samuels, all these people, I'm getting even brother Phil, we're tired. We're tired of talking to you guys. We are tired. If you don't want to better yourself and do take the steps you need to take to be better, then that's on you. But I find it hard to believe that young people who strive to be something than athletes want to sit there and live in poverty.
well, I mean, it's all they know. And so it's like, how do you, I mean, there's not even just poverty. I mean, I know adults who will not move outside of what they normally
Yeah,
do. They think it's normal. They think it's normal to, to struggle and not have this the
yeah,
basic stuff, right? They think it's normal. And so it's like, it's a mindset, it's a behavior that needs to change. And I say this all the time. I don't want to be with no man. I don't care who he is, how fine he is, how much money he got. I don't want to be with nobody who don't believe in himself. You know why I say that? Because it's hard to convince a person that don't believe in themselves to believe in themselves, right?
hmm,
That to me is almost as hard as going out there and making money or doing other stuff, is to get somebody who says, hey, you know what, I can do it. I don't want to be with somebody I got to be convincing, oh, you're great. Oh, you just need to believe it. Because first of all, we too old, and it's hard enough for me, to not hard, but I have to remind myself of how dope and dynamic I am on a
you are.
regular basis. And the
Mhm.
last thing I want to be doing is pulling along a dude. Oh, believe in yourself. Oh, you are a king. You're gonna need to come to the table with a belief system already intact. Now, everything else I can work with. I'm just keeping it real.
Right. And what do I always say to people? If you want a wake up call, do some traveling. Come here to the DR. I was in a place yesterday that, I mean, it didn't bother me because it reminded me of things when I started out as a young kid, whatever. But you want to see what poor is and how to what struggle is, you better get on your knees and kiss the United States ground that we have the safety net that we have, because over here, if they ain't got it, you better go get it. Simple as that.
Absolutely. So just to kind of tie up this last portion of, as a woman that's 35 years old, a leftover woman, absolutely not. I think it is in the eye of the beholder. If you as a man don't want a woman that's 35 years old with kids or whatever, then that's your prerogative. Nobody's forcing you to do that. But what you should not be doing is out there espousing these views as if it's the norm, right? As if it's something that's widely accepted. It's not. I mean, hell, I know a lot of dudes out there who, are with women older than 35. So it's like that to me, it's like I cannot stand when people put forth their personal views and idiosyncrasies out as this is the truth. This is the absolute. Everybody should go by it. And if you don't, you're emotional, you're delusional, all that other stuff, right? So it's like, if you don't want a woman that's 35 years old or whatever the case, get you a young one. But I tell you what, you're probably going to have just as many problems, if not more, with a younger woman because you trying to, as I hear a lot of these idiots, and yes, I call them idiots out there talking about, oh, well, you can mold a younger woman. You can't even mold your damn self. You can't even fold your socks up, let alone you talking about I'm a mold a woman. What you gonna mold her into? And you know what I'm saying?
Wait, wait. So you know what? I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Wrong, brother, because I
Fellas,
got
if
you.
you want to know how to make a successful black woman, there's a movie called What's Love Got to Do with It? What was Tina before Ike came and lifted her up out of poverty? She was nothing. And when they got a divorce, what does she want to take with her? Not her maiden name. She wanted the name that made her famous, and that was Turner. So what the problem is, Demetra?
You know my favorite part of the movie, right? You know
Yeah,
my favorite part of the movie
yeah,
is when she Tim up. That's my
right.
favorite part of the
Now,
movie.
now, what's my favorite part of the movie that I always tell you about when you try to leave? I bring you the flowers. I put the gun on the thing.
Right, right. Well, if you gonna shoot me.
Yeah,
Do what you gotta
exactly.
do, brother.
Yeah, what you gonna do, Ike? What you gonna do?
You already did it to me. So what else can you do?
Right. No,
Yeah.
but in all seriousness, no, I understand how a lot of women could be offended by that statement by Kevin Samuels, but for 40, 30 something years, the the statement that black men ain't shit, y'all need to work on that as well. That's all I want to say about that. I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say, but that narrative has taken root, and we know it ain't true. And we know it ain't true.
I say this all the time. As many as not that I've been in a whole lot of relationships, but the relationships that I've been in ain't been all that great. But I've never said black man ain't shit.
Right.
I've never said it because I always say I'm gonna die with a black man. I ain't gonna be with nobody else. I'm gonna take my last breath, and he gonna take his. I ain't gonna do nothing to him, and hopefully he don't do nothing to me. But when I take my last breath, it's gonna be looking up at my black king and saying it's been a great ride. I'm gonna miss you. I'll see you in the hereafter, unless you want to come with me now. I don't know.
Mm,
So I, you know,
yeah.
I've never said that about a black man, that a black man ain't shit. Even
Mhm.
though I've been through some things to where I would probably be justified in
Yeah,
saying
you'll be
that,
justified, right?
but I don't think it serves a purpose to run around saying that black man ain't shit. It's stupid.
Right. Exactly. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we on both sides we got a lot of work, but the non-participants, and yes, I'm talking to you. Y'all need to step y'all game up because if the Democratic Party continues to do what they're doing, y'all are in trouble.
Mm. So anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So let's go on to the next topic. Somebody actually wanted me to talk about this as far as women. Actually, it came from Pastor Thaddeus Matthews, and he says, "Are
Pastor Thaddeus out of Memphis, Tennessee, y'all go check out his channel. The brother is awesome. Wisdom beyond his years. But go ahead.
yes." So he raised the question, something like, "Are women, I forget it, but are men so bad, or are black men are so bad, or men so bad that women are now going over to be with other women?" And so I thought about it. Somebody wanted me to talk about it. I mean, I've heard, other women say, well, yeah, I'm, thinking about crossing over, getting me a woman, this, that, and the other, because I haven't had any good luck with men. So, yeah, I'm going to try it out. Now, I was asked the question. I'm like, hey, hell to the no. No shade to anybody out there who's doing that. I don't have an opinion on what you're doing. I'm just saying, as far as me, only thing a woman can do for me is show me where a man is at a strong chocolate king, somebody who knows who he is, who believes in himself, somebody who could teach me somebody who could lead. I could go on forever, right? So she could show me where he is at, but I can see myself be doing anything intimately or engaging in a relationship with a woman, because to me, and I'm saying to me, that is unnatural. Now I will say this, I understand it. I would be remiss to say that I don't get it, right? Because I know, and I listen, I'm not saying this is all black men, so please, because I know some of y'all don't go past the title, and y'all like to, draw these conclusions. So I'm just saying, not all black men. But I know a lot of black women who have been just rope-a-doped. Rope-a-dope by brothers. If y'all don't know what that is, that's a boxing term where you just on the rope. You're like, help me. Oh, stop, please. I have enough. So a lot of sisters have just been rope-a-dope by brothers, and they like, hey, you know what? Let me try the sisters. So I get it. I get it. Just wouldn't be for me. I just want to keep putting that out there.
Well, let me ask you this, Demetra. You've studied Christianity. You've also studied Islam. I've studied Christianity. I'm a Catholic, and I was in the Middle East. I studied Islam, and I pretty much am disciplined with Islam. I take a lot of my discipline from Islam because Christianity is like Jesus was wonderful. Do whatever you want. And that doesn't work when you're a black man. So. And I studied Buddhism. I studied all these. Buddhism is more spiritual, so I don't really count Buddhism. But in the major religions, I have never read where it said it's okay to lay with somebody of the same sex. It seems like every book says that is something that is detestable. And we're not here to talk religion and preach religion. All I'm saying is I've ran into a lot of people who are religious, and they're like, yeah, maybe I might go over there too. Now, I don't know how that would work in their relationship with God, but good luck to them. And it's kind of a controversial thing, kind of hypocritical to me. But statistically, it is said that same-sex couples divorce at almost the exact same rate as regular couples. Domestic violence is almost at the same rate as regular couples, or normal. I can't even say normal. Let me just say regular for not to be offensive. So I don't see the difference. You could run all you want, but the numbers don't lie. You could go to this one and the relationship might not work out the same as if you were with a man. And you've got some women, what do you call the women that are men?
You ain't finna get me to say that on here.
Well, whoever the man is in the woman relationship, if they're a big chick and they're fighting, I mean, the numbers don't lie. So I just don't. I just don't see how that's going to solve the problem of finding a particular mate if you're really heterosexual and you're going to the other sex because you're frustrated. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I understand the ideology behind it, but to your point, you're absolutely right. Domestic violence and things like that is just as high in same-sex relationships. I mean, I know of people who were in same-sex relationships and got their eyes dotted on a regular basis, like for real, right? And so it's like, golly. So to say that, oh, if I go be with another woman, it's going to be better. I mean, it's all behaviors, right? It's behaviors, it's characteristics and things like that. So I don't think gender has a whole lot to do with if somebody's going to treat you right. If somebody's a horrible person, they're going to be a horrible person regardless of who they're with, right? So
yeah, I know a lot of women that play Xbox and all this other stuff, and they're doing no different than that lazy man that's doing the same exact thing. I mean, if that's if some girls are into that. Remember, we were coming up on Atari. Girls played Atari just as much as guys did. So
yeah.
What would be the difference? I know a bunch of gay women that are unemployed. They're not motivated to work. They rather just same thing like a man. They want to run women. I know a bunch of women that do that.
I've heard of it too, and then some of them women, lesbians, let's say that, out there cheating and racking up a whole bunch of numbers and women and stuff just as much as the men are, because I don't know a whole lot about it, but it seems like they feel like they got something to prove too. Like you said, the ones that are identified more on the man side, they out there trying to prove that they running 304s and doing this and that too. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I always say this, Dimitri, and I always say this. Okay, when I was a younger man, it was a simpler time. You could ask a girl to go out to the theater and maybe, Sizzler afterwards, and you're spending about $50, $60. But even to get her to go out with you, you had to ask her 3 or 4 times, and she felt sorry for you and was like, okay, let me go. Maybe we could go on a double date with my girlfriend and her boyfriend. And you would go, right? But now we have these people that are in relationships that, I mean, it's a complicated scenario now to where everything is predicated on money. I mean, it's just a big thing. And if you ain't got it, it's Money makes the world go around, because I was watching the show, by the way, Wealth Wednesdays with Walter on Demetra K's show. You guys tune in for that. Walter brought a good point up. Money is what makes the world go around. There's money in the church. There's money in the money is the root of almost 50% of failed relationships. It's because of money. It isn't that
The
you don't
lack
love each
of
other.
money.
Yeah, yeah. It isn't because you don't love each other. The finances are stressing the relationship out. So it's about the money.
Yes, indeed. And it shouldn't be all about the money, but money is important. I think we fooling ourselves when we say, "Oh, all we need is love." Nah, because
Mm-mm.
love ain't gonna put food on the table. Like, can you imagine trying to put some Lowry's on some love on the plate? Then I don't know how that's gonna taste, or if it's even gonna
Right.
taste like anything. But that's being unrealistic, right? To think
Yeah.
that, oh well, we don't need money. I don't want to be in no struggle relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I need to be with somebody who's making all this money, be nice, but I don't need that, because I'm one of those people. I'm like, hey, let's take what I got and take what you got. Let's put it together and make it blow up, baby.
One
That's just
plus one
me.
is two, not one.
Right. That's just me. But, and I would say, just really from a woman's point of view, unfortunately, there's not I won't say there's not a lot, but I haven't ran into a lot of men who see it that way, right? They, I don't know, it's weird. Like, especially in our community, we think it's admirable to struggle by yourself. You
I
don't
don't.
see the white woman, you don't see the Asian woman, or even the Asian man, black, white man, or Mexican man. You don't see them. Well, we just gonna be out here struggling by ourselves, and we gonna think, nah. They like, let me get with Lupita, Ming, or Becky, and we gonna make it do what it do, right? We gonna rub these two things together, these nickels, not nothing else,
Yeah.
nickels together, and make it. We gonna make a go of it. But it's in our community. We're taught that I'm gonna be single forever, ever, ever, or I'm a struggle. Like, I don't want no struggle relationship.
Right, right. I mean, and it's so sad because, again, a lot of women bought into that, and they were taught that by their mothers who were in failed relationships themselves, and they were bitter about it, maybe, or whatever. And it just continued. Oh, girl, I even had to correct some of my male friends that were teaching that stuff to their daughters, saying, well, I want her to be, any man that gets with her is going to have to treat her like her father does. I said, no, that's the wrong message, because as a father, you don't have a sexual relationship with your daughter as that man would. So he would come at it at a different angle. And when she's a princess in the house, once you leave your father's house, ladies, you are no longer princesses. You're in the world. Get used to it.
Well, I'm going to say this. I don't have a problem with a man saying that he wants a man to treat his daughter as he
Sure.
would treat her, because I
Yeah.
understand that, just having a father of my own, and and I've heard him say that. And
Sure.
I think what that means is, so maybe not necessarily money, but no man wants to send his daughter off with a dude and they struggle, right? No man,
Right.
especially if
Right.
the father has been making sure his daughter is eating and she ain't missing no meals. He ain't trying to send her off with some dude and they struggling. He don't know how to manage my. So I get that. Also, what he's saying from a father's point of view, if I think I'm right, is don't abuse my daughter.
Right.
Don't talk to her harshly. Don't put your hands on her. I
Mhm.
want her to go into that relationship feeling loved and appreciated, like I have taught her, because most men who have little girls that have been in their lives and have taught them something has treated their daughters with
Yeah.
respect. They've opened their doors. They've taught them what to expect from men, how to be receive good treatment and stuff from men. So the last thing that father wants to do is know that his daughter is with somebody who is not at least giving her that type of treatment. And so I don't have a problem with that.
Right. No, no. And again, we're talking about those suckers like us that are out there working and providing, these dads that are there in their daughter's life. My brother was one of them. He's got two daughters, and he did the best he could with what he had, right? But he did it. No problem. We're talking about the ones that aren't participating in society. Father did not be there all the time or whatever, was in the streets, whatever. It's always those fathers that give the daughters the bad advice, and it's received totally differently in their mind. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I guess I didn't have that type of father, so I could just
Right.
only take your word for it.
Right.
But don't be with men, don't be with women like that. But can I say this to y'all men?
Mm.
Y'all men, not all of y'all, but some men that I know, y'all like women who don't treat you right. You like women who
Yeah.
may not have had a father in her life or a father who didn't do her right. Y'all like those type of women and then wonder why you're getting treated badly. And then you want to try to put that how you were treated by that woman who was awful to
As
you,
an excuse.
yeah, as an excuse to be awful to other women or say, oh, well, I tried. It's like, nah, tell the truth because just like y'all men tell women, oh, y'all chose him. That's who you chose for your baby daddy.
End
Same
of the
thing
day.
is true. And I know what I'm talking about because I know men who want a woman who is like, I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. I know a guy who liked this lady, okay? And something went wrong. Somehow the wires got crossed, the
Mhm.
communication got crossed, and she said she was going to call the police on him because she thought he said he was having her followed. And so she's like, don't contact me anymore. I'm going to call the police on you. And so he's doing his damnedest to try to get back in her life. And I'm like, okay, so you just like women who treat you badly. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because if you were, I think if you're honest with yourself, then you will stop ruining relationships, perhaps with women who are good to you, because you don't, like I always say, water seeks its own level, and so do people. And so if you're used to being in relationships with people who treat you bad, that's what you're going to seek. But I'm gonna tell you this: I would never, ever, 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 ever have such low self-esteem to where I would be with somebody or try to be with somebody who was gonna put my ass in jail over something I wasn't even trying to do. Ain't no dang or the potential in the dang that good. Because I'm one of those people, I don't mess with crazy.
Right.
When you show me you crazy one time, you
Mhm.
ain't got to tell me twice.
Right.
Because I know what crazy does is what crazy does.
Exactly. Exactly. But real quick, as we're transitioning here, as you know, we're in the DR. You've been here, and the influence of what goes on in America is very strong. The black culture is very strong around the world. We're the trendsetters. That's just how it is. And I just want to bring this up since we're talking about relationships. I'm going to ask you as a woman. A lot of these young women now, and it's just my opinion, they're going for a bag instead of going for a substance. You remember when we were growing up, there was a thing that Mother Goose from Fairy Tale, you don't kill the golden goose. What does
Mhm.
that mean, Demetria? Could you explain that to a lot of these young girls out here? And when I'm saying young, you could be around, 40 and below, because well, at least
Oh, you
I'm
talking
not.
about me? You
Yeah, I'm
talking
talking
about
about,
me,
yeah.
boo?
Yeah, I'm talking about girls in your age group and lower. So
So
what
when
does
you
it
say
mean not to kill the golden goose?
So when you say don't kill the golden goose, we all know that the golden goose is the goose that laid, rather, the golden eggs that made the money, the eggs that were valuable. And so if you get rid of that goose that's laying eggs that are considered valuable, then you get rid of earning potential and you basically cut off your own everything, especially if you're talking about financially, right? And I know the goose is
Yeah,
a
or
metaphor.
it's like you get one egg. That's all you're gonna need. One golden egg. That's
Right.
it.
Right. So I get what you're saying in that, unfortunately, this chase the bag culture
Hmm.
has taught women to be short term in their thinking opposed to being long term. So, what do I mean by that? So, let's say you and I are together, Donovan. I'm 25. Really, I'm 26, but let's just say I'm
Yeah,
25,
but
right?
yeah, 25.
I'm 25, and I see you as an older man. I'm like, oh shoot, he got it going. He got money. Look at him, got money. I'm gonna try to right.
Wait. Let me clarify that. I don't lead anything with money. I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm just a nice guy, but I'm well off. I'm retired. But go ahead.
Right. So I'm getting to know you a little bit. And instead of me saying, you know what? He could be a good husband. Let me try to do what I need to do to get the ring and all of that. Instead, I go in for the kill. Let me get $500, boo. I need $500. I need to get my hair did. I need to get, whatever, instead of,
Mhm.
and so I would guess for a man that would be a turn off to you to have a woman come to you in that manner, just like it's all about money, 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 money. But the other thing is, if you were to get into a relationship with that man and he sees you as valuable and worthy of being in a relationship with you, you can have that for the rest of your life. If he make you his wife,
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's not being taught, and then I like to play devil's advocate a little
Let's
bit.
play devil's advocate. Let's do it.
So I think for a lot of women who do that, and maybe they're women who have mothers who are maybe teaching them that, they probably like, these dudes ain't no good, just get what you can.
Mm-hmm.
A girl's got to eat. We talk about this a lot. A lot of times women aren't want to be with a man, right? But they're like, well, shit, I'll be involved with him long enough to go to a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
If he want to spend some money on me, I ain't gonna tell him no, knowing fully well that I'm not gonna lay down with him or be in a relationship. So
didn't you do that at the base a lot? You and your girl would sign in and come in and have a good time.
Listen, let me tell you something, okay? My daddy is watching, so daddy don't believe anything he's saying. But I was popular on the base shoot, I had it going on.
I like to dance with you. You like to dance, and the good thing about you, Demetra, and girls that were like you, especially for us military folks and soldiers and stuff, because you got some girls. Oh, I don't know you. I don't want to dance with you. You always have those girls like, hey, there's a nice song on. Like, come on, let's go out and dance. And that's all you did. You just had fun,
Sure.
Yeah. You had fun, I want to dance,
I love to dance, right? So I'm one of those people, when I go out or whatever, like if I go to a concert, I'm not paying to sit down and be, you gonna see me jumping up. I'm dancing, and don't let me have an aisle seat, boo-boo. I am going to be in that aisle, and I'm going to be cutting a rug, right? I just always do that. So I'm one of those people, I like to have fun and, all that. But yeah, as far as women going out there, trying to use a dude for his money, that's short term. And then eventually it's like, what do you got left? You got shoes, purses, I don't know, clothes, wigs, but you don't have a man.
Well, and then think about this. What about your body count? A lot of those guys ain't giving up that money without something in return. I'm not saying all women operate like that, but we know you guys do because you have OnlyFans accounts. But anyway,
I don't.
No, you don't. But you see what I'm saying? It's like we were teaching these girls short term when they should be, teaching. Hey, there is nothing wrong with, hey, I'm not in a specific relationship, but I'm dating this person. I'm dating this person. I'm dating. We're adults. You can date whoever you want. Now, the question comes down is if you're sleeping with all those people, that's your business. But you guys know where I'm going with that. I used to tell girls all the time that I was interested in. And I'm straight up with them. I date who I want. Now, if I'm going to get in a specific sexual relationship with you, I'm going to let you know that specifically, and that's all I'm dealing with. We're adults here. I don't believe in, we're going together. No, I don't. No, that's high school shit. We're adults. I pick and choose who I spend time with, and there's nothing wrong with that. When I see a woman, if she's dating this guy right, and the next guy right, I'm like, hey, well, she's single. She's doing her thing. That's okay.
Exactly. And my mom used to always say, you single until you got a ring on your finger.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And she also said, if you can't mark married on your job application, you single, right? And so, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we've got a long way to go. Like, it saddens me. And I think getting sad is an older people thing. Not sad like I'm always like a cloud around my head, but sometimes when I think about certain things, it does make me a little melancholy. When I think about the state of Black people and the state of Black men and women, and that we just don't really like each other. And I also say this, I've been doing a lot of mental work on myself, going to therapy. I probably should go, I've been in a while. I should probably do a tune-up. But
I think you need to go after your DR experience, but go ahead.
Well, I'm reading a really good book that's pretty helpful. It's called The Power of Now. And that book has continued to change my life in addition to a whole host of other books that I've read. But The Power of Now, it has snapped me back to feeling who I am and who I was before I got into my previous relationship. And you guys know the story about that. So I'm feeling more like myself, that I got my wings back and my confidence and all of that. But I think that we all could benefit from some sort of therapy, because we all got some things that we just need to unpack. Because we go through our whole lives, we think that we are better. Like, okay, I'm not going through that anymore, but we all have these things that'll trigger us, and then we're right back there. Instead of just bringing it to the surface, as the book says, bringing it to the surface, and confronting it and says, why are you here?
Mm.
What are you trying to show me? Like, I thought I got rid of you in 1995, but here you are. So I'm not going to push you back down. I'm not going to drink you away, smoke you away, have promiscuous relationships with different people. I'm
Right.
not getting into another relationship with anybody else until I figure out what is it that you want to say to me. I'm going to give you one last time to say it, and then I am going to be done with you. It's like when you guys watch and read the Bible, says Jesus was confronted with the devil, and Jesus had one conversation with the devil, and he says, devil, get thee behind me and never speak to me again. So you have to do that with things that are traumatizing to you. Figure out what is it that you want. When you figure that out, all right, I no longer want to hear or see from you again. Because if you
Mm.
don't do that, then you begin to take that trauma and drama, baggage, and everything else that you thought you got rid of into other relationships. And
Yep.
so basically, like I
Absolutely.
was saying about the guy that I know who wants to engage in a relationship with a woman who could potentially put him in jail, it's like, well, you probably shouldn't be getting in that type of, you shouldn't get in a relationship with nobody until you fix that part about you that thinks that you are worthy or unworthy to be in a relationship where somebody could put your freedom in danger. Like, that's something, and maybe that person is traumatized because his mom was not good to him and all other women were not good to him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he thinks that's normal to operate in the realm of a relationship with women who were horrible to him. But that just goes to show for anybody, fix the things that keep coming up. They don't go away I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm gonna go to sleep, I'm forcing myself to go to sleep. Okay, I woke up and it's not here. Because the minute you hear a song, the minute a smell comes or a commercial comes on, you're right back there and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I remember when that mother
Yeah.
or whatever.
Do
Instead,
do
yeah,
do do do. It was the 5th of September.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Papa was a rolling
Rolling Stone.
stone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you got to deal with those traumas, and I'm sweating when I'm talking about it. The change of life is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying that to say, and I want to talk about this a little bit more because I'm really starting to understand it. And Donovan, you are probably my one of my dearest friends, and I got a lot of dear friends. And Donovan, like you said, me and you talk about a lot of stuff. You're my
Mm-hmm.
dearest friends, and I know, you know, we've all dealt with things, right?
Yeah.
And just like in our conversations, I can hear from you that you've dealt with stuff and stuff that you're still dealing with, and not something recently, but something from years and years and years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we all just have these triggers. And until we realize what triggers us, we're going to continue to repeat the cycle, right? And so
True.
I have people tell me, why don't you get into a relationship? Oh, you should get into a relationship. I'm like, I'm not in a hurry. For one thing, I still look good. I'm gonna look good when I'm 80. I'm just keeping that, putting that out there. I'm
Yeah.
fit. I work out, so I'm not going anywhere. And so there's no rush for me to potentially get into some more trauma, right? There's nothing wrong with us sitting back and saying, hey, you know what? I like you. You cool. And I'm talking about ourselves, right? You cool. I enjoy your company. I'm learning more about you. I don't need to convolute that with getting another relationship, potentially traumatizing somebody else because I'm not well. So there's power in getting well. And the book, The Power of Now, talks about living in the now. Don't live in yesterday. Don't live in the future because you're not there. You're right now.
Here.
Deal with now.
Exactly. Exactly. So, so a lot of stuff going. I'm not going through any. Well, I'm not going through any trauma, but as you know, you guys are listening. Demetra had her time here, and she had enough. But like you were just saying, living in the now, I'm very comfortable, to myself and going on, doing what I do. But do I want somebody in my life? Absolutely, I do. We talk about triggers. It's no secret that if I saw my ex, I would be triggered. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna send you
So
the book. I'm
yeah.
sending you the book.
So, but I agree with it. Everybody has a trigger, and we got to really, start liking ourselves again and getting back to ourselves that, that we do our thing. Like I said, I get totally frustrated with a lot of things that women are doing nowadays, and I don't understand it because I'm a man, but it's the now. So,
You gotta live in the now. And Donovan, you saw me reading the book, and I was there ranting and raving about it, like, wow, this book, oh wow, you know. And so because when I was there, I was kind of mentally going through some things. You know, I'm one of those people. It's kind of hard for me to be away from home, and it's probably true for a lot of people. It's hard for me to be away from my home base for a long period of time because I'm just used to being home. I got routines. I'm busy, but I'm one
Mhm.
of those people. If I have too much idle time, I start to fester and I start to think and I start to ruminate. And then I start to go back down memory lane and I think about the woulda, coulda, shoulda, all this mother eat, eat, eat.
Mhm.
And so I just happened, I was really struggling. Like y'all didn't know it. It was the first day we got to Santo Domingo. That,
Mhm.
that like within the first hour or two, I was just really mentally going through it to where I thought I was gonna just cry. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what is wrong with me? And so something said, sit down, read this book.
Right.
And that's when you came in the living room. I was sitting down reading that
Yeah.
book. And I read what I needed to read to snap me back. And I was so, it was just almost like it was divine intervention that I read the book because I was really, I felt like I was gonna have like a mental breakdown, but it helped. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying it's important to live now. Don't live in the future. Because as my dad always says, you can't undo yesterday. You have
True.
to live today.
Today.
So,
Amen.
so what you getting into?
Well, what I'm going to do is I found here in Santo Domingo a Mediterranean Moroccan restaurant that is about a mile away, and I am going to go and have dinner at that Moroccan restaurant and take care of that, and and just kind of there's a whole bunch of stuff right here in this area that's like within walking distance, and I'm just going to enjoy it. A lot of people have been seeing me and stuff, and you know me, I get in the streets, and
You
so a lot
know.
of people have seen me, run around. They're like, "Oh, yeah, that's that guy. Let's let him go do what he's doing." So, yeah.
So well, I would say this: be careful out there. I know you coming back soon. I won't say when, for whatever reason,
Mhm.
but you're coming back soon. Enjoy yourself. Like I said, sit at a nice restaurant to yourself. Get you, a little something nice to drink, and just be there be there in the now, right? Just be
Yeah.
there in the now and enjoy it. I know, just between you and me, you got some things going on. I'm telling you that because I don't want you to live in the past. I want you to be in the now, right?
Right. Right.
Don't bring yourself back to the woulda, coulda, shouldas. No, that ain't all
Oh,
that
no,
ain't
no,
your
no, no,
problem.
no, no, Dimitri. You know me. I'm about my coin. I have an upcoming case, and that's what I'm concentrating on. I'm working on my presentations. I got the PowerPoint. I mean, I'm ready to go. And then at $5,000 retainer, I got old boy going to be handling that other situation for me as well, which I think is going to surprise the hell out of the person. So,
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. So, anyway, that is our time. We love and appreciate you dearly. We have a Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal if you want to donate to the Demetri K Show. If not, think about becoming a member or at least like the video because that helps with the algorithms and it helps to get this show out so more people can find it. We are pretty dope and dynamic and all of that. And so, we would love to have more people come to the channel. And so, we're going to see y'all tomorrow. We'll be here live. Demetri K Show, 5 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure to be fascinating nevertheless. So, Donovan, what say you before we
yes,
get out of here?
I want to remind you guys Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. If you haven't tuned into that show, I'm just going to give you some advice. Have a pen and paper ready to take notes. I'm telling you, the man is talking the real stuff. I've been taking notes, been looking at some properties here in the DR, just based off some of the stuff that Walter was saying, how to do this and how to do that. Not saying I'm going to move on any of those things, but one of the biggest things that I'm getting from Walter is moving on things. I might not do it here in the DR, but I will most likely do it in the States. And I'm telling you guys, if with what's coming down with the economy, if you're not looking at the signs and reading the tea leaves, especially for Black people, everybody's getting a bag but us. So we're going to have to come up with another solution to survive. So do not forget Wealth Wednesdays with Walter on the Demetri K Show.
That's right. It's called Ready, Set, Go. So, anyway, y'all, we'll see y'all later tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Peace.